Part two, frequency holders. Frequency holders represent one of the most misunderstood concepts in modern spirituality. These are individuals with higher quality consciousness who can positively influence others simply through their presence and state of being. As Tolle explains, their function is to anchor the frequency of the new consciousness on the planet. They're here to generate consciousness through the activities of daily life, through their interactions, as well as through just being. You don't need to make a big splash or become famous to serve this role. You can live quietly while still contributing to collective consciousness elevation. Toll notes that their purpose is to do everything in a sacred manner. As each human being is an integral part of the collective human consciousness, they affect the world much more deeply than is visible on the surface of their lives. While it's true that our consciousness affects the collective field, whether you're actively engaging with the world or not, hiding your light under a bushel in isolation wastes an incredibly valuable gift. When you volunteer at the hospital, teach meditation, mentor someone struggling, or simply interact with authentic presence at the grocery store, you're giving people direct access to what higher consciousness feels like. Campbell emphasizes this point. You have a bunch of people who are well developed, who have low entropy and high quality consciousness. The people around them get to be pulled up. So you could contribute a whole lot more if you are more connected with your fellow man. You can convince yourself you're the most loving, evolved person on the planet while sitting in meditation in a cave or Vipassana retreat. But until you've maintained that presence while dealing with a screaming toddler, an unreasonable boss, or someone attacking your character, you haven't truly owned it. As Campbell warns, you can convince yourself you're the most grown up, most loving, and most caring person on the planet. And when you get out there on the mean streets, you're none of those things. It all stays in here. The contemplative life is a cerebral life. One of my mentors, Will, who has had over 4,000 trips out of body into consciousness using Campbell's methods, gave me a perfect example of this principle through his retired 75-year-old neighbor. This man proudly told Will that he'd figured out the secret to happiness. He had systematically eliminated every challenging scenario from his life. No difficult relationships, no demanding responsibilities, no situations that might trigger stress or discomfort. He'd created what he believed was the perfect, peaceful existence. But as Will pointed out, this man had essentially put himself into spiritual stasis. Without challenges to test his patience, compassion, and equanimity, he had no opportunity to actually develop these qualities. He might feel, quote unquote, happy, but he wasn't growing. He was like someone claiming to be a great swimmer who had never left the shallow end of the pool. If the world doesn't need more spiritual hermits, Will said. It needs more awakened humans willing to show up fully in ordinary life. But showing up is just the beginning. Some are called to be active conduits for transmission. My future studies and experience with frequency holders naturally led me to explore how ordinary humans could become clear vessels for higher consciousness. The difference between holding a frequency and actively channeling, I found, lies in intentionality and surrender. While frequency holders anchor consciousness through their being, channelers learn to step aside completely, allowing something far greater to flow through them. Some frequency holders are also channelers, but not all. Many simply hold space through their state of being without actively transmitting specific energies or information. This distinction became crucial later in my journey as I met more and more mentors who had mastered channeling and transmitting the divine.